Alright, so here we are again. Sorry it's been so long since I made the last video. Just been busy with some things. Okay, so we're going to talk about more case particles today. Last time we talked about ga, which is a case particle, and also wa, which is more of a bound particle, but we don't really talk about that in modern Japanese, at least not in English speakers when they're learning Japanese. But anyway, we've been talking about case particles. Those are really sort of the basics of the basic particles in Japanese. If you don't understand, you really can't understand the sentence, because like we said before, case particles tell you the relationship that words have to each other in the sentence, especially to the verb, the main verb, or the verb of the clause that the particle is included in, and the word that the particle is attached to. We're going to talk about ni, the particle ni. Ni is kind of a tricky one because you don't, it's kind of hard just to talk about it without using it in different contexts, because there's situations where you use it in certain ways. And we're not going to really worry about that right now. If I can continue to do this after we go over particles and start going over some other grammatical forms, like for example giving and receiving, like kudasaru, itadaku, and that sort of thing. We talk about how to use it when we talk with those verbs. Like, it's a good idea in Japanese to remember things as a phrase. Memorize a verb and the particle that you usually use with it. I have some serious camera problems today. So anyway, we're just going to go on to the different functions of the particle ni, the case particle ni. And I mean, this is from my experience and from all the different grammar books and a few of the textbooks that I read and things I read in the dictionary, but the way that I'm splitting it up and a lot of the examples that I'm giving come from this, the Reikai Shinkokugo Jiten from Sanseido. It's a very good dictionary, especially for people learning Japanese. It's Japanese dictionary, but it's the best way that you can learn. I mean, you don't have to read all the definitions in Japanese, but they're not that hard. It gives tons of examples and stuff. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to split it up into 7 different ideas, 7 different functions, okay? And the first function that we're going to talk about is how ni shows place. And in this case, it sort of works like a preposition does in English. But in Japanese, we don't have prepositions, we have postpositions. All case particles are postpositions because they don't come before the word, they come post after it, right? But ni kind of has the same function as many prepositions do in English. For example, kabe ni e o kakeru. Kabe ni e o kakeru. So we have kabe ni, which is on the wall, or the wall, kabe, the wall, and e is a picture. And in this case, kakeru means to hang. So, and I'm going to use the first person subject here, even though in the Japanese it's ambiguous. But it would be, I hang a picture on the wall, or hang a picture on the wall, or something like that, right? And so here we have kabe ni, and this ni is telling you where to put the picture, where to hang the picture. Like in English, on the wall. So a lot of times, and I think this is probably one of the most basic and maybe one of the more common functions of ni, is that it tells place, tells where to do something, or where something should be done. Like on the wall, lots of times you can do like tsukue no ue ni, on top of the desk, or something like that. In that case, the ni is used to mark the place. And a lot of times, one of the biggest or the most common uses of ni would be for existence, place of existence, right? Like ni, something ni aru, like somebody asks you, where's the pen? Then you would say, it's tsukue no ue ni aru, it's on top of the desk. Or where is your radio? Heya no naka ni aru, it is in my room, or something like that, right? So that would be ni showing place. lots of times used with existence verbs, even with iru, like somebody is somewhere. Okay, a second definition, or the second function I should say, sorry, is going to be time. And ni is used to mark time words in sentences. Now it's a little bit tricky, but because you can't use it with all of them. But a good general rule, I think, is that specific time periods and with beginning and an end and things that you can sort of point to, and time like say 10 o'clock, those you can all mark with a ni. Unspecific time periods like today, tomorrow, like kyo, ashita, unspecified time periods don't take a ni. Okay? That's the general rule that you can follow. And so for here, we have 月曜日にまた会いましょう。月曜日にまた会いましょう。月曜日 is Monday, また is again, and 会いましょう is let's meet, with 会う, it's the mas form of 会う, 会, which is to meet, and then ましょう, which is let's do something. Okay, so 月曜日にまた会いましょう is let's meet on Monday. And here, Monday, 月曜日 is something that's a specific time. And you can mark days of the week like that with a ni. And it's telling you the time to meet. I don't know if that really makes sense. It's more telling you, associating that time with the verb. So you're saying let's meet, and the time that we're going to be meeting is 月曜日. And you can't, like I said, if you were going to say let's meet tomorrow, you would just say 明日また会いましょう. You would not use ni. Alright, I hope that makes sense. Okay, so this third, the next purpose for, or function of ni is going to be destination and goal. And by that, it's like choose somewhere or something like that, right? For example, Okinawa ni iku. Nice, simple sentence. Means I'm going to Okinawa, right? Okinawa is just Okinawa, and ni would be to, and iku is to go. So, here we have a simple, sort of like indirect object that, like in English, it's marked with a to. Here in Japanese, it's marked with a ni. And you'll see that a lot. You'll see that a lot in Japanese. Things that we'll use to for in English will be marked with a ni. That's a very general statement, and I'm sure somebody could chew my head off about it if they wanted to, but we won't worry about it. So, destination or goal, like Okinawa ni iku, or in the next sentence we have here, with a different function, this is actually talking about purpose, and this kind of goes along with what I was saying with using the particle as a part of a grammar, right? In this case, it's very important to remember that. But we have two ni's in this next sentence, and that sentence is 銀行に金を預けに行く. Okay, so the first part is 銀行に, and 銀行 is the bank. So 銀行に, to the bank. That's the destination goal ni. And then 金を預けに行く. Kane is money, and 預ける or 預けに行く. 預ける is like to deposit the money, right? And here we have 預けに行く. So what this does is we take the 預ける verb, okay, and we take off the, or we put it in the mas ke, or the mas form of the verb, whatever you call it, whatever the grammar book you're using calls it. You put it in the mas form of the verb, so we'll just call it that. And that's going to be, azukeru is going to be azuke, because azukemasu is what you'll say, right? So, and you take that verb, and then you put ni, and you put a movement verb, like iku, kaeru, modoru, or something like that, kuru, right? And this shows the purpose of the action that's in the mas form of the verb. So, well, it shows the purpose of the movement, which is the mas form of the verb. So the purpose of going to the bank is to deposit the money. So, 銀行に金を預けに行く means I'm going to the bank in order to, for the purpose of depositing money. Okay, don't worry about that one too much. But that's a use that you'll see a lot. And if you can use it, it's very useful when you're trying to explain things to people. Next one is recipient. Ni marks the recipient of an action. This is sort of like indirect object, right? We have 駅前で隣のおばあさんに会った。駅前で隣のおばあさんに会った。So, 駅前 is in front of the train station. The day here, we will talk about day later, but it just means this is telling us where this happened, which is in front of the train station. 隣のおばあさん is it's not an aunt. おばあさん means aunt, but it's not an aunt like my aunt. It's like, the lady, just the lady next door. My next door neighbor, who's a lady, whatever, however you want to say it. Ni atta. And this ni is what the important part is. And ao means, atta is the past form of ao, which is, so this sentence means, I think I said this already, but I met the lady at the train station. I met my next door neighbor, basically, is what this sentence means. And it's telling us the recipient, or the person who I met, is the lady next door. The next one is comparison. And ni is used to compare different verbs, or not verbs, sorry, to compare different things in the sentence, right? With a verb. Usually you don't just use ni, but you're going to have some sort of verb that's going to tell degree of difference or something like that. But anyway, ni is used to mark things that are being compared. So we have in this sentence, kind of long, but it says, 奥さんの料理はレストランの料理に勝っている。奥さんの料理はレストランの料理に勝っている。So what this means is, 奥さんの料理は、奥さん is wife, somebody else's wife, の料理, so her cooking, so it's like you could tell somebody this, I guess as a compliment, I don't know, you might want to change the verb ending there, but your wife's cooking, right, wa, that's the topic of the sentence, レストランの料理に, so here's the thing that's being compared to, so I'm saying, okay, topic of the sentence, this goes back to wa, 奥さんの料理, that's the topic of the sentence, 奥さんの料理は, this is what I'm talking about, now I'm using ni to mark the thing that I'm comparing the topic to, okay, so the main thing I'm talking about is the person's wife's cooking, but I'm comparing it to レストランの料理に, so that ni is marking the thing that I'm comparing the person's wife's cooking to. And 勝っている, which means it exceeds, or it's, above it, sort of idea. And here, so remember, ni is marking the thing that you are comparing the subject of the sentence to. It doesn't mark both of them, just the one that you're comparing the subject to. So you have your subject, the thing the subject's being compared to with a ni, and then whatever your verb is. Okay, and last, number 7, is proportion or percentage, okay? And this actually is very important and pretty basic. We have, for example, 3日に1回カレーを食べる。3日に1回カレーを食べる。So, 3日 is 3 days. 1回 is 1 time. カレー is just curry, right? And を食べる is to eat curry. So, in 3 days, I eat curry once. Okay, so this is telling me, I use it, you use the ni to mark the thing that is being split. Okay, so it's kind of like every 3 days I eat curry once, right? So 3日にカレーを1回カレーを食べる. So I eat curry once every 3 days. So you use the ni to on the thing that's being broken up, the thing that's being cut or proportioned, right? So that is the days are being cut into sections of 3. So we're showing those sections of 3, those proportions of 3 days of every time I eat curry. I hope that makes sense. Have any questions, let me know, and I'll try my best to clarify. Next we're going to do the particle o. Thank you.